Chocolate lines up planetarily with the sun.
Ginseng, you guys ready here? Ginseng, and then over here, Sustanch in your pants. In your pants. Ginseng. The estro block, because it breaks down all the bad estrogen, so it gets the dude out of the seat. Then you bring the Tomcat Ali in, right? You get the dude out of the seat, then you bring the progesterone cream in. That's how you take your passion flower powder, and then you bring in your maca. Boom. So it bumps, and then you can get the dude right in there in the seat. Sustanch in your pants.
Chocolate is an octave of sun energy.
Same octave as serotonin. It's on the same octave as the sun. It's on the same octave as gold. It's on the same octave as gold. Sustanch in your pants. Those are all the same thing. They're just in a different metaphor. Ginseng.
All right, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? The first part of the video is Otto spewing shit. Chocolate does not line up with the sun, and if it did on some weird esoteric level, let's be honest, this is the last motherfucker that will ever be able to figure that out.
David Wolfe. I have nothing against David Wolfe. Everything I spoke about was just my comments and criticisms on the health advice that he was providing. So this is not a personal attack at all. But what I have to tell you guys out of obligation as a dietetic student is be careful who you get your health advice from. Look at their credentials. Do they have professional credentials? Are they an MD, an RD? Are they some form of a health professional giving professional health advice? Is their advice being backed up by scientific peer-reviewed journals? So just please be smart who you get your health advice from.
Cause of vitamin D imbalance, IC3, indole 3-carbinol. You guys want this? Remember? Here we go. Okay. Way in the back there. The hormone, but it's not getting out of the gland. That's where ginseng comes in. Ginseng opens a little squeaky valve on the gland, and the hormone can get out. There's a little cap on your gland. It's got a little lid on it. Ginseng, but that can get rusty. And ginseng lubricates it, makes it go. Oh, I gotta throw some of these out here. Okay, what do we got? Here's ginseng. You guys ready here? Ginseng, and then over here, Sustanch in your pants. In your pants. Who's got that one? I want to see who got that one. Somebody. Okay, how about ginseng over here? Somebody over here. Over there, in the front row. Dive for it. That dude out of the seat, and it's like, oh, got it. Musical chairs. And a couple more images. Colostrum is another very interesting one because it's a great source of growth factors.
Growth factors such as insulin, IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, caused by eating animal proteins, is one of the leading causes of tumor acceleration growth or cancer metastasis. But snake oil salesmen only want to ever announce certain nutrients and certain ingredients as being beneficial. It's not in the financial interests of salesmen to ever mention the detrimental effects. Again, IGF-1, insulin-like growth factors are one of the leading causes of cancer growth and tumor growth and cancer metastasis throughout the body, particularly IGF-1 caused by eating animal protein from colostrum of the first milk of the mother cow.
So one of those things I didn't slip in when we were talking about growth factors.
And our cells don't get larger when we grow up, they get more numerous. A child's hand may only be made up of about 50 billion cells and may have to add a half trillion or so growing up. Once we've already grown up, we don't want a lot of extra cells hanging around. I mean, we still need our cells to grow and divide, right? Out with the old, in with the new. We just don't want to be making more cells than we're putting out to pasture. When you're a kid, extra growth is good, but when you're an adult, extra growth can mean a tumor. How do our cells know when to tip the balance in favor of more dividing and less dying, and when to come back into balance? Well, a key signal is IGF-1, a growth hormone called insulin-like growth factor number 1.
Colostrum is another very interesting one because it's a great source of growth factors.
Levels go up when you're a kid, so you grow, and then come back down. Should your levels stay a bit too high as an adult, though, there's this constant message to our cells. Grow, 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 divide, don't die, keep going, keep growing.
So one of those things I didn't slip in when we were talking about growth factors.
And so, not surprisingly, the more IGF-1 we have in our bloodstream, the higher our risk for cancer. More IGF-1, more prostate cancer. More IGF-1, more breast cancer.
Growth factors.
Of course, it's not the original tumor that tends to kill you, it's the metastases. IGF-1 is a growth factor. It helps things grow, so it helps cancer cells break off from the main tumor, migrate into surrounding tissues, and invade the bloodstream. And, what do you think helps breast cancer get into the bone? IGF-1. And the liver, IGF-1. Lung, brain, lymph nodes, IGF-1. Helps transform normal cells into cancer cells in the first place, then helps them survive, proliferate, self-renew, grow, migrate, invade, stabilize into new tumors, and even helps hook the blood supply up to the new tumor. IGF-1 is a growth hormone that makes things grow. That's what it does. But too much growth when we're all grown up can mean cancer.
So one of those things I didn't slip in when we were talking about growth factors. Native Americans were deer eaters, not cow eaters.
That is absolutely correct, David. Native Americans did eat deer. Actually, they ate anything that was free and accessible on the land. Deer, buffalo, rabbit, and bison.
Ginseng!
But I got a feeling you're trying to wiggle yourself into something else here. Let's see where you take this one.
They had a completely different consciousness. Deer eaters have a different consciousness than a cow eater.
You've got to fucking be kidding me. The fact that you're even stating that in front of a group of people and no one's calling bullshit is bullshit. What, you think you got a direct fucking link to Christian now?
Ginseng! A deer eater is actually more into consciousness in the stars and the heavens, more in the ethereal realms. A cow eater is like, we're here.
And that smoothie is so filled with superfoods, is so charged, so powerful, it actually will power you up indefinitely if you need it.
Alright, David Wolfe just stated that he can create a smoothie with indefinite energy.
Ginseng!
Unfucking believable. We can't even perform that feat technologically this day and age, and he's gonna whip it up in a fucking blender.
Mushroom spores have been found at every altitude of the Earth.
Ginseng!
Right up into the troposphere, right in the ionosphere, stratosphere, everywhere. Every single height has been found mushroom spores because they can levitate off the planet.
This guy's lost his fucking mind. Spores do not levitate. Spores are so light and so small they get picked up by wind currents, and that wind current takes it into a place like the stratosphere. But let me put it into perspective. It's no different than me taking a shit drying up, turning to dust, getting picked up by a wind current, taking it into the stratosphere, where my shit would then reside next to the spore of a mushroom.
This is where the money is, my friends. David Wolfe, almost gold, $347. Oh my god. So not only is this guy a good liar, he's a good, that's not serious. That's not serious. Let's click on this. What does Gormasold give you? This is pretty funny. This is pretty hilarious. This is hilarious.
Because they're surrounded by a shell, which actually is trying to get to the center of the sun. Occasionally, it gets slingshotted right off the center of the sun and gets propelled out into the atmosphere, into the solar system, and then eventually gets slingshotted out across the galaxy.
Another great example of the craziness of this David Wolfe character. He's convinced himself that not only does the spore of a mushroom levitate, but it is also slingshotted around the sun and ejected into the galaxy. I'd like to know who performed that test. I'd like to know who followed that fucking spore.
I like Yukon root syrup because it's got everything we want. It's sweet to the taste, but it doesn't cause candida, and it doesn't cause things like the C word, to get worse. You ever seen the C on the rock that supposedly was on the moon on that one picture and it has C on it? That's the kind of C we're talking about here.
I can't fucking believe the shit that comes out of this guy's mouth. It should be illegal.
David Wolfe and LongevityWarehouse.com make no health claims for this product. It is labelled for research purpose only. No claim is made or implied about the safety. No claim is made or implied about the safety, health effects, etc. of David Wolfe's almost gold. What the fuck? What, Dave, what are you thinking? You're selling people a bottle of whatever for $347 and you say you can't make any claim about the safety or health effects of David Wolfe's almost gold. Has David Wolfe lost the plot? I don't sell colostrum placenta. I never have. I don't. Dave, mate, are you tripping, man? We've just called you out. We've just called you out. How much more do you want to lie to people and sell them bogus products like David Wolfe's Almost Gold? So, nothing personal, not hating, just saying, just sharing my comments and criticisms.
Look at that look on his face. What C word are you talking about, David? Or did we just go into a fucking game of charades?
Dates? I see people get into trouble with dates.
You've got a fucking problem with dates now. I'll tell you why. Because someone else owns that fucking market share, not you. Instead, you push cacao. And the harmful side effects of cacao 100 times fold in comparison to a date even on its worst day. Fucking hypocrite.
A lot of times. Meaning sugared out. You get like up and down, start flipping out.
Congratulations, David. You just explained the side effects of cacao, not dates.
And then if you're going to have any sweetener, it's probably a good idea to have the best sweetener ever, and that is honey. That's, honey's it.
Which is healthier? In alphabetical order, agave nectar, blackstrap molasses, brown rice syrup, corn syrup, date sugar, dark brown sugar, light brown sugar, maple syrup, honey, raw cane sugar, plain old sugar, or turbinado sugar. Here's the graph. 2 actually have some significant nutrition, but the rest are pretty much a wash. Let's start filling this in. Sugar is here, agave is here. Each with a completely pitiful 2/millionth of a mole of plasma ferric acid producing ability, which is essentially 0 antioxidant power. Which is worse? Honey or maple syrup? Or the same? Well, they can't be the same, right? I mean, there aren't 2 bars left the same size. Both still sugar, but honey beats out maple syrup. In fact, all these are basically just sugar, whether dark, light, raw, or turbinado. There are only 2 health-promoting sweeteners, only 2 sweeteners that are actually good for you: molasses and date sugar. They're both good, but out of curiosity, which one falls to second place? Do you think molasses is less healthy than date sugar, or does date sugar fall to second place? The healthiest sweetener on the planet is date sugar. Date sugar is not really sugar, it's just whole dried dates pulverized into powder. As the only whole food up there, no wonder it's number 1. It's the only thing I ever use in baking. Because it's a whole plant food, it has fiber, though, so there is a thickening effect, which is great for smoothies or hot chocolate. But what if you want to sweeten your tea or coffee? You don't exactly want thick tea. Now, you could add sugar, but then you're adding empty calories, and if you drink as much tea as you really should, that can add up.
Etc., etc. David Wolfe says, I don't sell colostrum and placenta. I never have and don't consume them either. I'll sold down. Look at this little picture of Dave with this little hand thing. Now, he's got a lot of makeup on his face. The photo's photoshopped, obviously. It's like he's praying, like saying, I don't sell colostrum or placenta. I never have and don't consume them either. Now let's go for the facts here. Let's go for the facts. So, longevity warehouse. So this is in Google, so I'm not making it up. David Wolfe's longevity warehouse. Now, maybe I've had too many bananas today, but that says David Wolfe, yeah? David Wolfe's pics. Now, let's click on that. Oh, there's Dave again. Dave. Says any more Daves? Dave. And there's 2. Maybe it's a twin brother. Dave on stairs. Dave. Oh, hang on, here we go. Oh, try our creamy 6-hour colostrum. Hang on, what did David say just before? I don't sell colostrum and placenta. I never have and don't consume them either. Because maybe I've just photoshopped that in there. Try our creamy 6-hour colostrum. Let's just make sure Doing What hasn't photoshopped that. And let's click on that. And maybe it goes to 30bananas.com. Oh no, it stays at Longevity Warehouse. And Dave's Wolf's face is up there. Colostrum powder. Colostrum comes from stealing the first milk from the mother calf. The mother cow and its calf gets separated. So David Wolfe, the multimillionaire, can sell that colostrum, can steal it and take it and powder it up and sell it to you. And that little calf gets shipped off, sent some dodgy feed or put in a veal crate. The mother has her baby stolen from her and her colostrum taken from her. So can you imagine that?
Colostrum is another very interesting one because it's a great source of growth factors.
The dairy industry pulled a fast one on us and didn't tell anybody, really. When I was a lad on my uncle's dairy farm in the 50s, when a cow became fertile, we'd lock her up in the stanchion and call the man from Badger Breeders who would come out and ram a tube of bull semen into the cow's uterus and squeeze the rubber bulb, and the bull semen would fertilize the egg in the cow, and she'd become pregnant. At that point, if she was giving milk, she would dry up. She would stop lactating. The milk stops flowing in a pregnant mammal, and there's a good reason for that. In my uncle's life in the 1950s, he had no choice. Well, he had a little notebook, I remember, and bossy number 18 won't be giving any milk till she has her calf in the spring. And my uncle had to accept that. That's just biology. In today's modern dairy installations, they are milking thousands of cows twice a day, 2,000, 3,000 cows at a time. And they cannot afford to have their best milkers go offline for months at a time when they get pregnant. So the dairy industry went to the smart agricultural geneticist and says, we got this problem. Our cows stop lactating when they're pregnant. Can you help us? And the geneticist said, no problem. And they genetically modified the cows. And today's dairy cows have been genetically modified, so they will give milk all the way through their next pregnancy. Even though they're pregnant with their next calf, they are still giving milk. Well, when a female of any species is pregnant, her body is coursing with estrogens. Her tissues are full of estrogens, which get in the milk. That is why nature has her pregnant mothers stop lactating. If you're a mother fox or a mother mink who just gave birth to a litter of 8 kits and half of them are males, and you get pregnant again, you don't want to be giving those male offspring milk that is full of estrogens. You'll create all sorts of developmental problems. So nature's smart enough to turn off the lactation when a mammal's pregnant. But the dairy industry keeps that milk flowing. And so today's dairy products are made with milk whose levels of estrogens are shockingly high. And these are official mammalian estrogens. These are not the puny little phytoestrogens in soy products. These are official estrone, estradiol, estriol, pregnanediol, progesterone. These are official mammalian estrogens. We are pouring it down the gullet of our children in this river of milk and cheese and ice cream and yogurt. Oh, eat this, my child. It'll help you grow big and strong. But meanwhile, this river of estrogens is now coursing through our children's bodies. And then we look and we see our little girls are going through puberty at age 8 and 9 and 10. Why do Western women get all these breast lumps? That's not normal. You go to rural China, you don't see women with breast lumps. You go to rural Vietnam, you don't see women with breast lumps yet. When the Western diet metastasizes over there, you'll see it. But again, could all these estrogens have something to do with these breast lumps? Gives guys man boobs. The estrogens make the prostate gland unstable, and the more dairy a boy eats, the higher his risk of prostate cancer as a man. This is for baby calves. And I said, it's been genetically modified, not even good for the baby calf. There's so much estrogen in it now.
So one of those things I didn't slip in when we were talking about growth factors.
David Wolfe's commodifying the bovine estrous cycle. He's commodified the birth of a beautiful baby calf, and he tells you with his little namaste hands praying, I don't sell colostrum and placenta. I never have and don't consume them either. He's relying on dumb people to believe that nonsense.
Colostrum is another very interesting one because it's a great source of growth factors.
Now what else did David, what's his other claim? I don't sell colostrum and placenta. Let's have a look. Dear placenta.
And again, this is a whole other issue for another time, is dealing with the placenta and this idea of eating the placenta, completely unfounded in any clinical scientific evidence and research, except for the research, which I'm not going to get into here in this video. That's not for this time, but is the research on that is a whole other thing. Is you are dealing with pregnant animals, so you're loading yourselves with harmful estrogens loaded from a pregnant animal. And then again, the placenta is literally the filtration organ to stop toxins and harmful substances from killing the baby or from causing birth defects. So the placenta is literally the equivalent of eating a dirty car filter, a dirty air filter, a dirty, the equivalent of eating mussels and shellfish as well, which are the filters of the ocean. And so these things are loading themselves, bioaccumulating, biomagnifying, and bioamplifying these levels of toxins to harmful to extremely dangerous levels, let alone from the high estrogen loads.
Here we go. Dear placenta, 55 bucks. What's this? Truth Calkins Jing City jacket with whey, $261. That's another more nonsense for another video. But David Wolfe just says, I don't sell colostrum placenta. And then we click on his website, Dear placenta. So David Wolfe blatantly, is he lying to you? But it's not his website, is it? Longevity isn't his website, even though it's got his name on it. And his face plastered all over it. And then we go to David Wolfe's pics. We've got David Wolfe's pics. Let's just refresh that, make sure I'm not making anything up here. David sells you marine phytoplankton for $435. This week it's on sale for $398. And here we have marine phytoplankton 100 grams for 145 bucks. Because this is nonsense. Let's see if we can buy some bullshit. Does David Wolfe sell bullshit? Because he sure speaks a lot of it. No bullshit bullet. What about secondhand toilet paper comes up? We can buy some of that. $9.95. We've got discount. Is it recycled? We've got Kukicha twig tea made out of twigs. Now there was something on here the other day I seen pretty funny. Someone sent me a link. 2A65. Doctor. Is Dave a doctor all of a sudden now, is he? $1,200 for its little cell rejuvenation. $1,200. $1,200. Be the first to write a review. Please focus on product performance and quality. $1,200 pros. Made David Wolfe rich. Ad. Effective 100%. Cons. Ripping people off. Best uses. Making me rich. Daily use. Describe yourself. Filthy rich. How you use the products. I use this product to make mega dollars. It's great profit margin. Please don't judge me. Just give me your Visa cards. Thanks. Warehouse. David Wolfe's Longevity Warehouse. I don't sell colostrum though. We go to Longevity Warehouse on Facebook. David Wolfe's face is there. We go to Longevity Warehouse, best day ever. Man, this is the richest day ever. David Wolfe's face is there again. But again, David comes back. I don't sell colostrum placenta. I never have, and I don't consume them either. Dave, we caught you out, and we would like an apology. Thank you. Where Wolf and Monarch want you to believe deer antler comes from.
Okay, that's biodynamic farming. So that's what it's indicating, is that energies are flowing into the cosmos or flowing out of the earth and up, and they're being concentrated in certain substances, like a deer's antler. So when you take a deer antler product, that's not some joke. That's not some like, oh, we're taking this supplement now. That's a very deeply intuitive read that many, many sages in the history of our planet tuned into, and we're like, that's where the prana is concentrated, right there. So unless we really have that kind of mindset of like, whoa, this is a product of a very long, intuitive development of an idea, then we might just be stuck in this whole very superficial reality of like, oh, I'm taking this product. Deer antler is not a product. It's a cosmic substance because it's cosmic in nature. It's elevating. It's levitational in its nature, which actually it makes you younger. Forces of levity make you younger. Rudolf Steiner, if you recall what I said the first night here, Rudolf Steiner said that we gradually age due to substances in our body that are seized by the Earth's gravity. He could have said anything. He could have said anything at all, but he said that.
Little cartoon deers, happy smiley faces, dream world, Santa in the sky with the reindeer. Happy days for the reindeer, isn't it cute? The truth about deer antler products they don't want you to know or believe. Deer antler industry's cruel, harsh industry based on lies, animal exploitation, pain, death, fire, destruction. The deer are kept captive, their horns are cut off, it's painful, it's treacherous, it's torturous, it's disgusting. People who sell deer antler lack integrity. David Wolfe, my question to you is, why do people need deer antler and deer placenta and colostrum? Are these three things even healthy? We know these products are based on animal cruelty and exploitation and sold at outrageous prices. We all know that. But are these products safe? Are they healthy? Does anybody on earth suffer from a deer placenta deficiency?
Colostrum is another very interesting one because it's a great source of growth factors.
Video of David Wolfe critiquing Dr. John McDougall and Dr. Dean Ornish. This should be interesting.
Here's where we run into problems. When McDougall, Ornish, and all that crew are saying a 4-year-old needs to be on that kind of a diet. That's where we run into problems. I see those cases. People come to me and they're like, my husband went to a lecture and it was all these doctors and they're saying, you know, you have to have very low fat and you need to have like a lot of vegetables and no salt at all ever, absolutely not. No oil ever, absolutely not. And I've got a 2 and a 4-year-old and they're running over to the neighbor's house and they're just gorging themselves on eggs or gorging themselves on cheese. They're gorging themselves on some fat and they're gorging themselves on salt. I was like, well, thank God your kids have instincts.
Interesting. So let's just work with that right now. What he just said about Ornish, McDougall, and basically all the plant-based doctors advocating a low-fat, no-oil, whole food plant-based diet. I don't really understand where he's coming from the salt take. I mean, they're not recommending a no-salt diet. I mean, in fact, Dr. McDougall is pretty lenient on the salt. Why don't we check out what he has to say?
Salt is a primary taste of the human being. You might remember from your high school or junior high biology that the tip of the tongue tastes salt with pleasure. Was that a mistake of nature? No, it wasn't. People are supposed to eat salt. In fact, we're supposed to seek salt. As a matter of fact, I can substantiate scientifically and logically that if you don't get enough sodium, you risk illness. You're compromising your body. You're asking your body to make huge adjustments to conserve whatever little minerals available. And as a result, there's evidence that you increase your risk of heart disease and death. I mean, from really good studies. And so eating a low-salt diet is not going to translate into better health for you. I'll tell you why a high-sodium diet or high-salt diet is dangerous. It's because of the company that salt keeps. Salt is mixed up with bad foods like salami and cheese, your lunch meats. That's where the salt comes from, and that's where the problem is. When you eat a high salt diet, you're eating all of these dangerous foods. You like salt, I want you to enjoy your diet. Put a little salt on the surface of the food, you'll be happy. As long as the food that you put that salt on is healthy food, starches, vegetables, and fruits, you'll lose weight, excess weight, and you'll regain the health you've lost.
Well, somebody's going to eat 30 bananas a day and do the natural hygiene diet. I know what's going to happen. I've been in this industry 17 years. I've seen it all.
So if you don't know what you're doing, be careful.
This is Lifting the Veil. You can find all of my full books, presentations, videos, films, articles, posts at patreon.com/liftingtheveil. And there is also a ton of exclusive content, and I will leave the cited reference links in the description down below. So you can check that out for all of my full content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, make sure to subscribe. Please help me reach more people by sharing these videos around on the internet, because I rely solely on word of mouth, and the recommended algorithms are not recommending any of my videos or films anymore. My channel has literally been completely restricted, so I rely on your help, and I need your help, so please help support this channel by sharing my work around if you appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, and leave me your comments. I definitely want to know what you have to share and what you have to think about all of this stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Y'all stay safe and take care of yourselves, and I will see you later.